Hello student, welcome to online lecture series on measurement and instrumentation control mechanical fourth semester and mechanical sixth semester. Myself Kapil Dhama, assistant professor, St. Andrews Institute Technology Management, Farooqnagar, Gurugram. In lecture 12 we cover the following topics regarding the intermediate indicating recording elements, introduction to amplifiers, mechanical, hydraulic, pneumatic and optical elements used in the measuring and recording devices, electrical amplifying elements and compensators. The students, the type of instruments, as you know, in the earlier classes we have discussed the absolute and secondary instruments. So as you know, absolute instruments are those which gives a value of the electrical quantity to be measured in terms of the constant of the instrument and their deflection only tangent galvanometer. एग्जाम्पल के तौर पर आप टेंजेंट गैल्वोमीटर के तौर पर आप देख सकते हैं. If we talk about the secondary transducer students, secondary instruments are those which have been pre-calibrated by comparison with an absolute instrument. The value of the electrical quantity to be measured in this instrument can be determined from the deflection of the instrument. So deflection is meaningless in the secondary instrumentation. So in the secondary instrumentation, we have further classification, that is indicating, recording and integrating. So indicating means the in which the indicate the instantaneous value of the electrical quantity being measured. यानी कि infinitesimally very small value at the time at which the quantity is to be measured. Okay. So their indications are given by pointers moving over a calibrated dial scale. Example: ammeters, voltmeters, and wattmeters. If we talk about the recording elements, student, the recording instruments are those which gives a continuous record of variations of electrical quantity over a selected period of time, and the moving system of the instrument carries an inked pen which rests tightly on a graph chart, recording voltmeters used in the supply station. And if we talk about the student integrating, these are those which measure and register the total quantity of electrically or a total amount of electrical energy supplied to a circuit over a period of time, ampere or meter energy meters. Okay. These are the some terminologies we should consider in keep in mind regarding the indicating instrument, regarding deflecting torque, controlling torque, and spring control. Okay. So in deflecting torque, it is the torque which deflects the pointer on a calibrated scale according to the electrical quantity passing through the instrument. The deflecting torque causes the moving system and hence the pointer attached to it to move from zero position to indicate an graduated scale the value of the electrical quantity being measured. So what about the controlling torque, that is which control the movement of the pointer on a particular scale according to the quantity of electricity passing through it. So if deflecting torque were acting alone, the pointer would continue to move indefinitely and would swing over a maximum deflected position irrespective of the magnitude of a current, okay, which is to be measured. And third one we have, if the spring control, the hairspring, usually phosphorus bonds attached to the moving system, is used. With deflection of the pointer, the spring is twisted in the opposite direction. This twisted in spring produces a restoring torque which is directly proportional to the angle deflection of the moving system. The pointer comes to the position of rest equilibrium when the deflecting torque and controlling torque are equal. This is the equilibrium position when controlling and deflecting torques are equal. Okay. We have also the gravitational control by attaching a small weight to the moving system in such a way that it produces a restoring or controlling torque when the system is deflected. That is, T sine theta is directly proportional to the sine theta. Okay, what is the advantage we have to observe in the gravitational control? The advantage is very cheap, unaffected by the temperature, not subjected to fatigue or distortion with respect to time, and disadvantage is that it gives a cramped scale and instrumentation have kept to be vertical. Okay, these are all damping torque. Next we have the mechanical amplification and electrical signal conditioning. Mechanical amplification by the elements such as linkages, gearing or cants is quite limited because of the following disadvantages. When amplification is required, frictional forces are also amplified, resulted in considerable undesirable signal loadings. These effects results in poor response. तो जैसे कि आप देख रहे हैं कि जैसे अब एम्पलीफिकेशन हम करते हैं तो हमारे पास हमारे जो प्रोसेस के अंदर अनडिज़ायरेबल सिग्नल लोडिंग्स का भी जो है इन्वॉल्वमेंट आ जाता है, जिससे कि हमारे को पुअर रिस्पॉन्स हमें ऑब्टेन होता है। तो इलेक्ट्रिकल सिग्नल कंडीशनिंग की एडवांटेज इस समय क्या रहेगी, ये है कि कन्वर्टिंग रेजिस्टेंस चेंजेस टू वोल्टेज चेंजेस, सब्ट्रैक्टिंग ऑफसेट वोल्टेजेस, increasing signal voltages, removing unwanted frequency components which are very important, and ease of power amplification, और साथ ही साथ सिग्नल की स्ट्रेंथ को बढ़ाते रहना अलग अलग लेवल पर, ये बहुत ज़रूरी है। The additional power may be fed by to the system to provide greater output power than input by the use of the power amplifier. So function of signal conditioning equipment we have, that is amplification, enhancement of the signal level, modification or what we called as modulation, changing the form of the signal, smoothened, linearized, filtered or converted into different form, impedance matching, that is matching the transmitter and receiver side, matches the input and output impedance to maintain the level of the signal so that equal from the transmitter side and receiver side equal communication has to be achieved. Data processing, that is carry out mathematical operation before recording or indication of data. Data transmission, transmit data from one location to the another. The whole task of the signal condition require the following: ingenuity, proper selection of the component, faithful reproduction of the signal student. तो जैसे कि आप देख रहे हैं इसका we have the some excitation source which may be classified AC, DC, DC. Okay, the strain gauge based transducer consists one or more arms of the Wheatstone bridge which is excited by the DC source. So as you know, in the Wheatstone bridge, which is based on Wheatstone bridge principle in the form 4-arm bridge network, when the 4 elements are balanced, we get the null deflection at the galvanometer. So the bridge can be balanced by using a potentiometer and can also be calibrated to indicate the unbalanced condition. Okay, so this is all about the DC voltage source. Main disadvantage of DC amplifier is the problem of drift. Hence, low frequency spurious signals are available at data at the output, and to avoid this low drift of a DC amplifier, special low drifts DC amplifier are used. जैसे कि आप देख रहे हैं DC सिग्नल कंडीशनिंग में कि ट्रांसड्यूसर ब्रिज नेटवर्क वी हैव, DC एक्साइटेशन सोर्स कैलिब्रेटिंग एंड जीरो नेटवर्किंग वी हैव, DC amplifier again, and we have power supply, low power pass filter. Okay, so this is the AC signal conditioning system with respect to DC conditional, that is transducer bridge. We have the similar components in the DC signals conditioning, calibrating a zero network. We have, instead of DC, we have AC amplifier and power supply and phase sensitive detector. This is the additional circuitry or element which is introduced in the AC signal conditioning system. And power supply is also common to the AC signal amplifier and carrier oscillator. And phase sensitive detector is provided as an input to the carrier oscillator and is passed to the bridge circuit. Low pass filter is also provided. Now amplification, that is the device which is used to increase or augment the weak signal. It may be operated on mechanical, gear, level, levers, etc., optical, pneumatic and hydraulic or electrical and electronic principles. As you know, the ratio of the output signal to the input signal for an amplifier is termed as gain amplification or magnification. The gain of amplification is represented as output by input, and G or A we can say that dimensionless. Okay, तो अगर आपको बहुत सारे गेन्स मल्टीप्लाई करने हैं तो वो G1 डॉट G2 डॉट G3 हो जाएगा. तो we have various types of amplifiers, that is mechanical amplifier, fluid amplifier, optical, electrical, electronic amplifier. So mechanical amplifiers or mechanically amplifying element is a linkage mechanism that amplifies the magnitude of the mechanical quantities such as force, displacement, velocity, acceleration, torque in linear and rotational systems. So transducers are devices that convert energy from one form to the another, such as mechanical to electrical, vice versa. And mechanical amplifier are employed to improve the efficiency of this energy conversion from mechanical sources. So as you see, there are two meshing gears transmit rotational motion with different number of teeth between the input and output gears. Torque and velocity can either be amplified or reduced. If the number of teeth of the output gear is less than that of the input, the output velocity is amplified. Mechanical amplifying element has an advantage of gear train is given by the ratio of the output torque and input torque, which is also the same ratio of the number of teeth to the output gear end and number of teeth of the input gear end. Limitation what we have: the internal loading, friction at the mating part, elastic deformation, backlash. As you see, that is the input arm is sometimes called as the effort arm, the output arm is sometimes called a load arm. That is a mechanical concept of mechanical amplifier. So output greater force over a small distance is fulcrum. As you see, the input small force over gear distances. Okay students, this is the concept we will study. Now if we talk about the fluid amplifiers, that is pneumatic amplifiers. So pneumatic control system operates with air. The signal is transmitted in the form of variable air pressure, often in the range of 0.2 to 1.0 bar, that initiate the control action. One of the basic building blocks of a pneumatic control system is a flapper nozzle. That is in the diagram. As you see in the diagram, the air supply, there is the orifice and the nozzle and a flapper. Okay, so it converts very small displacement signal to a variation of air pressure. Constant air pressure is applied to one end of the air pipeline. This is an orifice at this end. At the other end of the pipe, we have a nozzle and a flapper. The gap between the nozzle and the flapper is set by the input signal. As the flapper moves closer to the nozzle, there will be less air flow through the nozzle and the air pressure inside the pipe will also increase. But on the other hand, if flapper moves away from the nozzle, the air pressure decreases. At the extreme, if nozzle is open, flapper is far off, then output pressure will be equal to the atmospheric pressure. If the nozzle is blocked, the output pressure will be equal to the supply pressure. In this way, we will see how the pneumatic controllers work and pneumatic amplifiers operate. We have another amplifier called as hydraulic amplifier. When a small distance is applied to a piston operating inside a cylindrical containing some liquid, there occurs a large displacement of liquid in the output tube with respect to which has small diameter. And if we talk about the optical amplifier, so as you study in your smaller classes regarding the incident, angle of incident, angle of reflection, that is the concept we study in this type of amplifier. So as you see in the diagram, that is the incident ray, that is the plane mirror, and this ray will be reflected back to the again another medium. तो आप जैसे कि देख रहे हैं कि ये रिफ्लेक्टेड रे कहलाएगी और वो इंसिडेंट रे कहलाएगी. और नॉर्मल जो आपकी लाइन है उससे इंसिडेंट रे का जो बनेगा एंगल, उसको हम एंगल ऑफ इंसिडेंस कहते हैं. और रिफ्लेक्टेड रे का जो नॉर्मल लाइन से बनेगा उसको हम एंगल ऑफ रिफ्लेक्शन कहते हैं. Next we have electrical and electronic amplifiers. The electrical amplifier also used to increase the magnitude or weak voltage or current signals resulting from the electromechanical transducers. So we have a certain desirable characteristic of electronic amplifiers, that is high input impedance so that its loading effect on the transducer is minimum. Low output impedance so that amplifier is not unduly loaded by the display or recording devices. And frequency response should be as good as that of a transducer. This is the electronic gain of the amplifier. So as you know, voltage amplification is nothing but voltage output divided by voltage input, and current amplification is nothing but current output divided by input. तो ये है. इसको हम पावर गेन में अगर हम डेसिबल्स में देखना चाहें तो पावर गेन का जो फॉर्मूला है वो log base to the 10 P0 by P output by P PI इनपुट, ये बन जाएगा डेसिबल में। 1 बेल भी कह सकते हैं, 1 बेल इज इक्वल टू 10 डेसिबल। ओके, AC and DC amplifiers में are only capable of dealing with rapid repetitive signals but are usually simple and cheaper when compared with the DC counterpart. So in AC amplifier system, the amplifier drifts and superior noise are all not significant. The main frequency pickup, the rejection is very high. Okay student, the DC amplifiers are capable of amplifying static slowly changing, whereas the DC amplifier systems are easy to calibrate at low frequencies and hence the ability to recover rapidly from the overload conditions. Then we have the students modulated and unmodulated signal. When a signal which is going to be measured is superimposed on the carrier signal, then that signal is called as a modulated signal. Whereas when the signal is going to propagate with respect to without the involvement of the carrier, that is an unmodulated signal. Okay, next we have the operation amplifier students. तो ऑपरेशन एम्पलीफायर्स की मदद से आप वेरियस ऑपरेशंस अपने एम्पलीफिकेशंस में कर सकते हैं, like adding, subtracting, integrating, differentiating. Okay, so in integrating it is work as a high pass, and differentiating it is work as low pass filter. Various applications in operation amplifiers with which we can make the various operations of the transducer's output into multiple way. Okay, like inverting, complement, adder, subtractor, multiplier, divider, integrator, differentiator, buffer amplifier. Buffer means voltage follower. The same input will be replicate at the output. Okay, differential. Attenuator is also play a very important role. An attenuator is two ports resistive network and is used to reduce the signal level by given amount. What we have, what the other thing what we have to achieve is we want to reduce the signal strength. Then what we do? Then you use the concept of attenuators. In number of applications, it is necessary to reduce a specified loss between the source and the matched load without altering the impedance relationship. The attenuation are used for this purpose. So it may be fixed or variable, or symmetrical or symmetrical. A fixed attenuator with constant attenuation is called PAD, and variable attenuators are used as a volume controller in radio broadcasting. Also used in laboratory to obtain small value of voltage or current or for testing circuits. It is expressed in the attenuation in decibel, that is 10 log to the base 10 pi by p naught. So p naught is the output power and p is the input power. And following type: resistance attenuator, symmetrical T attenuator, pi attenuator, L type attenuators. What we have is the filters, that is the unknown unwanted components of the measurement. What we need, what we required the frequency component to transmit from one end to another end. Okay, this is also playing a very important role. And 4 types of classifications we have: low pass, high pass, band pass, band reject. Okay, next we have the data acquisition systems. A typical data acquisition system consists of individual sensors with necessary signal conditioning, data conversion, data processing, multiplexing, data handling, and associated transmission, storage, and display systems. So typically convert analog waveform into digital values for easy processing. The analog data is usually acquired and converted into digital form for the purpose of processing, transmission, display, and storage. Data may be transferred for long distance or short distances. So data may be displayed on a digital panel meter or as a part of CRT presentation. Okay, the same may be stored temporarily in either raw form or a processed form for immediate use of the later preferences. So DAS must have some objectives, that is, must acquire the necessary data at the correct speed and correct time. It must monitor the complete plant operation to maintain online and safe operations. It must be able to collect, summarize, and store data for diagnosis, operation, record purpose. It must be flexible and capable of being expanded for future requirements, and also able to compute unit performance indices using online real-time data. And it is reliable, easy to operate, and must be user friendly. Next, we have student the compensation. Why the compensation is necessary in our measuring and instrumentation system. So in order to obtain the desired performance of the systems, we use compensating networks, and these type of networks are applied to the system in the form of feed forward path gain adjustment, and compensate a unstable system to make it a stable. The compensating network is used to minimize the overshoot and increase the steady state accuracy of the system, and it increases the steady state accuracy being instability of the system. So compensating network also introduces poles and zeros in the system, thereby causes a change in the transfer function of the system. Due to this, performance specification of system changes. So there are the various methods of compensation in the control system or measuring system. As you see, these are normally prominently used in the industrial process system. So first we have the series compensator, the connecting compensating circuit between error detector and plants, known as series compensation. As you know, student, the this part is nothing but called as a error detector. This is a compensator. This is a gain or the plant. Okay, and this is a feedback path, as you study in your automatic control system. So connecting a compensator circuit between the error detector and the plant, known as series compensation. When a compensator used in feedback manner, it is called as compensation, feedback compensation. जैसे कि आप देख रहे हैं कि हमने गेन और के साथ हमने फीडबैक कर दिया, ये फीडबैक कंपनसेशन बन गया। और अगर हमें लोड के साथ करना है, लोड कंपनसेटर, तो ये देखेंगे combination of series and feedback compensator is also called as load compensation. Now what are the compensating networks? And compensating network is one which makes some adjustments in order to make up for deficiencies in the systems, and this may be in the form of electrical, mechanical, hydraulic, etc. So most electrical compensators are RC filter. The simplest network used for compensator are known as lead lag network, or the combination of the both. So first we have the phase lead compensation, a system which has one pole and one dominating zero is known as lead network. If you want to add a dominating zero for the compensating control system, then we have to select lead compensating network. The basic requirement of the phase lead network is that all poles and zeros of the transfer function of the network must lie in the negative real axis, interlacing each other with a zero located at the origin of the nearest position. So the effect of the phase lead compensation is the velocity constant kV increases, the slope of the magnitude plot reduces at the gain crossover frequency, so that relative stability improves and error decreases due to the error is directly proportional to the slope. Phase margin increases, response becomes faster. And advantage of phase lead compensation is, due to presence of phase lead network, the speed of the system increases because of shift gain crossover frequency to a higher value. And due to the presence of phase lead compensation, maximum overshoot of the system also decreases. But the disadvantage of phase lead compensation is steady state error is not improved. If we talk about phase lag compensation, a system which has one zero and one dominating pole is known as lag network. If we want to add a dominating pole for compensation in control system, then we have to select a lag compensation network. The basic requirement of phase lag network is that all poles and zeros of transfer function of network must lie in the negative real axis, interlacing each other with a pole located or nearest to the origin. So effect of the phase lag compensation is, the gain crossover frequency increases, bandwidth decreases, phase margin will increase, response will be slower before due to the decreasing bandwidth, rise time and the settling time becomes larger. What the advantage we observe is, allow low frequencies and high frequencies are attenuated, and due to presence of phase lag compensation, the steady state accuracy increases. Disadvantage what we have, due to presence of phase lag compensation, the speed of the system decreases. Now we have the combination of phase lead lag and phase lead compensation may not satisfy the design specification. For an unstable unconsistent lead compensation provides fast response but does not provide enough phase margin, whereas lag compensation stabilizes the system but does not provide enough bandwidth. So we need multiple compensator in cascade. The advantage of phase lag lead compensation is due to presence of phase lag lead network, the speed of the system increases because it shifts gain cross frequency to a higher value. So due to the presence of phase lag lead network, accuracy is improved. Accuracy is improved. So this is all about the topic we have discussed in this lecture. I hope कि आपको समझ में आया होगा. हमें आने वाले लेक्चर्स में और टॉपिक डिस्कस करेंगे. तब तक के लिए थैंक यू.